Hey everyone, I'm back with Amina's voice. I'm going to be reading chapter 23. And this is the second to last recording, so there will be one more recording after this one. Okay, chapter 23. My school cafeteria is packed with people. They are sitting in rows of chairs facing a microphone set up on one end of the room. Imam Malik and a police officer stand side by side and are taking turns answering questions. Baba and Hamid uncle sit behind them. It feels strange to be in the school at night, since I skipped during the day. Mama let me stay home after she saw how wiped out I was in the morning. I hadn't been able to sleep last night either, and had bad dreams about what had happened at the Islamic Center. Mustafa ended up staying home too, and we both helped to spread the word about the meeting that Mama and others had set up with the county officials. The rest of the day I watched 3 hours of sitcom reruns on television until my head started to hurt. Now, at night, I realize that I'm going to be missing The Voice and wonder if my favorite contestant, Javier, will make it to the next round. The cafeteria is filled with faces I recognize from the community, like Dahlia and her parents, Sami's family, and Sister Naima and her husband. And there are so many others who have come, like Pastor Stevens, Rabbi Weiss, local officials, my principal, and a bunch of teachers from my school and the others in the county. Mrs. Barton is sitting next to a man I recognize from the photos on her desk as her husband. And Miss Bixler and Mr. Nelson are there too. Miss Holly sits in the row behind them, her usual smiling face drawn and tight. But when she meets my eyes, she gives me a sympathetic look. Everyone in the room is bursting with questions, which Officer Jenkins nervously answers, his face red under a crew cut. I feel sorry for him as he struggles to explain things that are unexplainable. A lady, elegant in her bright pink and purple paint-printed African dress with a matching head wrap, stands up, her body stiff with anger. Our center is known for being active in the community. We work with local charities and have a free health clinic. We help people, so I just don't understand why. Why would someone want to do this to us? Officer Jenkins shifts and his face grows even redder. Our best guess is that this was a simple act of hate. We don't believe that anyone specific in the community was targeted. Whoever did this was looking to send a message of fear aimed at all Muslims. Several people murmur in agreement. It worked. I'm scared. An older man with graying hair in a suit stands next. Have you made any arrests yet? I'm afraid not, Officer Jenkins replies as he mops his brow with a napkin. We are exploring all the leads we have, and we will keep you informed. My head starts to ache again. We have time for one more question, Imam Malik says as a flurry of hands fly up. He points to Sammy's mom, who has been waiting. I just want to know how we can make sure this won't happen again. How can we feel safe in the future? Imam Malik nods towards Officer Jenkins, who says, We are working with the leadership to set up additional security measures at the Islamic Center, including a more sophisticated surveillance and alarm system. We also need everyone to be vigilant for any suspicious activity. Thank you, Officer Jenkins, for taking the time to talk with us tonight. Let's give the kind officer a round of applause, Imam Malik says. Officer Jenkins holds up his hands as the applause starts. Before I leave, I just want to say I know that this is a terrible, challenging time for the Muslim community here in Milwaukee. On behalf of the entire police force, I can say that we are all deeply saddened by this hate crime. It's simply unacceptable and it's un-American. We will do whatever we can to prevent anything like this from happening in the future and to make sure justice is served. Everyone's applause grows louder. Thank you, officer, for all that you are doing to get to the bottom of this and keep our community safe, Imam Malik says again. If everyone else can stick around for a few more minutes, we need to talk about the cleanup effort and ways you can help. I rub my eyes, finally feeling sleepy. Sorry. I'm sitting next to Thayajan, who's nodding off in his seat. The people who are standing in front of the door move to the side, and it opens again. I blink a few times when I see Sujin's mom walk in, and right behind her is Mr. Park and Sujin. With them is a tall man with blonde hair. Mama is sitting near the door, and she quickly rises to greet them. She gives Mrs. Park and Sujin hugs and shakes hands with the others. I sit glued to my seat, wondering what to do. Does Sujin want to talk to me? I'm still sitting there, debating with myself as Mama motions for me and Thayajan to come over. Hi, Amina dear, Mrs. Park says as I approach them. We're so sorry to hear about what happened at the mosque. We wanted to come earlier to offer our support but got delayed at the restaurant, Mr. Park adds. Thank you so much. I hug each of them and give Sujin a sideways glance, uncertain about what to do or say. But Sujin comes closer and gives me a big hug, squeezing me tight. Are you okay? She asks with worry in her eyes. This is so scary and so crazy. Yeah, I gulp as a flood of relief rushes through me. Sujin's acting like her regular self. We saw the story on TV. I can't imagine what it would be like to have something like this happen at our church. I nod. I wanted to call you and tell you right away. You should have. I pause. I felt too bad about everything that happened at school. I'm really sorry. It's okay. Sujin shakes her head slightly as if she wants to dismiss the thought. It's not okay, I insist. I play with the zipper of my jacket, and the words come rushing out. It was wrong of me to say anything about Emily. I should have known better and been more careful, and don't worry about it, Sujin cuts me off. It doesn't matter right now. She waves her hand around the room. But I have been worried about it, at the same time that I've been worried about all this, and I can't let any more time go by before clearing the air. I hope you can trust me again. Sujin pauses. I can, Amina. I know you. I'm sorry, too, for yelling at you. I nod, too relieved to speak. The handsome blond man introduces himself to Mama and Thayajan next. I'm Mark Heller, he says, flashing a set of perfect teeth. I'm here to offer my help. Heller? Could it possibly be? Are you Emily's dad? I blurt out. Yes, that's me. Emily was very upset by what happened. She told me last night what good friends you are. I heard about this meeting and decided to stop by on my way home. He smiles at me, and I notice that his green eyes are the exact same shade as Emily's. Thank you, I managed to squeak. After all that happened, Emily said we were good friends. It's the least I can do, Mr. Heller continues. What happened is just appalling. We all have to stick together in times like these. Everyone murmurs in agreement. I own a construction company, Mr. Heller continues, addressing Mama, and I'd like to offer my services to help your community rebuild. I can do the repairs at cost and only charge for materials and labor. Wow, that's so nice of you, I interrupt. A wave of great gratitude washes over me, and my eyes fill with tears. Yes, that is an extremely generous offer. Let me introduce you to the others. Mama wipes her eyes too and smiles widely as she leads Mr. Heller toward Imam Malik and Baba. Mr. Heller places a firm hand on my shoulder as he walks by. Everything is going to be okay, he says. I nod, my heart full again, but in a good way this time. I pull Sujin, who's been listening to everything, over to a couple of empty chairs along the wall. Did you hear that? I say. I haven't been nice to Emily at all, and now her dad is being so great. She's not a bad person, Amina. I think we just saw her hanging around with Julie before and thought she was like her. She's actually, I know, she's nice. I was so worried about Emily becoming friends with you that I didn't notice she was trying to be friends with me too. It's okay, Amina. I think she still wants to be friends with you. Do you think she's still mad at me? No. I talked to her about it later. She got your note, and she believes that you weren't trying to hurt her or anything. She's okay. I hug my friend again, so glad that she came. The meeting has wrapped up, and people are standing together in small groups talking. Mustafa is stacking empty chairs with Yusuf and putting them away. Imam Malik and Baba are talking to Mr. Heller. He's right, I think. Everything is going to be okay, inshallah. Hey, I remember suddenly. How was the swearing in? I should have said congratulations to you and your parents. It was really cool. We were with all these people who moved to the U.S. from all over the world. Sujin described the hall and the way it all worked. So I guess it's official, she adds. We're going to have a party in a couple weeks. So, should I call you Susan now? Well, not yet. Sujin's grin is slightly sheepish. After all that, when it was time to sign the final papers, I just couldn't imagine not being Sujin anymore. Kind of like you said. Wait, so you're going to stay, Sujin? For now, I don't feel like a Susan just yet. Sujin giggles. But who knows? Maybe I'll feel like a Natasha later. Or maybe a Fiona, I laugh. Oh no, never a Fiona. I was just humoring Emily. No ogre names for me. Mrs. Park walks up and holds out her hand. Come on, girls. A long day like this calls for some frozen custard. I asked your mom, Amina, and she said you can come to Cops with us. Sweet! I take her hand and pull up Sujin behind me. As much as I love the creamy dessert and loading it up with all my favorite toppings, the idea of spending time with my best friend again is even better. It sounds like the perfect plan. That is the end of chapter 23. We have one more video to go. It will be chapter 24 and 25, and it will be up shortly after this one. So come back for our final chapters.